can I talk to you for a second? Sure, Monica. Yuri gets up and follows Monica to the front of the room while everyone else gets up and goes back to their respective areas. Sighing to myself, my eyes eventually drift to Monica and Yuri, who seem in deep and serious conversation. Just as Monica is interrogating Yuri to heart about what happened. But part of me still feels I should have told Monica what I saw. You don't just share those things. I just hoped Yuri was telling me the truth. I still can't shake what I saw though. How could someone like Yuri possibly be doing that to herself? Suddenly feel a tap on my shoulder. Look behind me to see Natsuki standing right by the desk next to me. Oh, hey Natsuki! Didn't see you there. What's up? Not much, just wanted to check on you. Since Yuri came in here looking upset. And you kinda looked down over it. It's nothing to worry about. There was just a misunderstanding between us. What kind of misunderstanding? I don't really want to get into it right now. Yeah, that's fair. I just hope she didn't do anything to you. Don't worry, she didn't. Well, that's good. I would offer to show you this really cool special edition manga I got, but I can't find it right now. Do you think you might have left it somewhere? Well, at this point, probably. I'm going to have to end up retracing my steps. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. No, it's okay, really. For the things we can read, we never get the chance to do anything fun together. I appreciate the offer, Natsuki, but I'm not really in the mood to read anything right now, or be around anyone. Are you sure? Simply not my head. Natsuki lets out a sigh. It's cool. I need to find that manga anyway. Well, if you want me to help you, No! You probably slow me down anyways. Natsuki, before I can say another word, Natsuki walks out of the club room. Put my hands on my face as I sigh quietly in frustration. Do I have to piss off every single person I talk to today? Jeez. Chloe? Look up to see Monica worryingly standing over me. You okay? Yeah. What happened? Told Natsuki that I didn't want to be around anyone and she got upset at me. She didn't really seem that upset. Guess she might be assuming something. Well, she did kind of. Wait a second. Now, even expression-wise, she was still pretty calm. Though, given the fact that she stormed out, I can see the upsetness there. I'll deal with one problem at a time. How'd it go with Yuri? Well, I got her poems! Monica hands me Yuri's poems. I don't know why Yuri's upset with you, Chloe. But I don't want you two fighting tomorrow. Understand. I'm sure that she'll be fine tomorrow. I hope so. Well, if you want to talk about anything, just let me know. I'll be sure to, Monica. But Chloe, I think everything will be fine tomorrow. Just focus on what you want to say to Natsuki. Alright. Thank you for helping me out so much today. It's what I do, Chloe. I'm always happy to help out our favorite member. Blush at little Monica's remark. I'll be here, Chloe. Just let things take their course. Thank you, Monica. Anytime. I walk over to my bag and carefully put Yuri's poems with Monica's. I was looking up to look for Sayori, but turns out she already had my idea. Ready to head home, Chloe? Yep. I'm just looking forward to crashing on my couch. It's been a long day. Chloe, that's lazy talk. Don't be a couch potato when there's still so much daylight left. I admire your energy, Sayori. I have to be my best for everybody. I blush a little as Sayori and I wave goodbye to Monica as we start to walk home. I tried to think back to how I spent earlier reading with Yuri by the fountain, which helped improve my mood a little, though I'm still worried about what I saw. I'm tempted to tell her what I thought I saw, but I wouldn't want to risk spreading rumors. I'm not sure if this would be rumors, but it would still be, like, if she is doing it, and we outside, of course, know she's doing it, then you still should talk about it with the person first and ask if they're comfortable with other people knowing about it. Not that seriously gossip type anyways. I'm just worried she'll tell or make me tell a teacher or the principal and things will escalate out of control from there. And that... I really do think I like Yuri. Having spent the last 2 weeks getting to know her has truly been something. It's truly amazing how far we've come in such a relatively short amount of time. First I thought she wanted to stay to herself, but now she has no problem talking to me. I even think I'm starting to take an appreciation to her demeanor. And well, she can clearly put up with me now. I didn't know it at the time, but I didn't think we'd be able to get along as well as we do now, considering how shy she was and everything. But the more I think about it, especially with what happened earlier, I think I understand why Yuri always acts so reserved and distant from everyone else. The more I think about it, the more worried I am about her safety. I'm not completely convinced that these were ordinary cat scratches. And if she's actually cutting herself and denying it, then that's a serious problem in itself. But maybe I don't need Monica's help on this. Maybe I can talk to Yuri about this one-on-one. I mean, I hope she trusts me that much. But maybe there's a chance she was just telling me the truth and didn't want me to worry. Be kind of funny if I ended up stressing all over this for nothing. I guess I really do care about her, huh? I've really become more invested in her the more time I've spent around her. No matter what it is we're doing, whether it be reading, drinking tea, or just even talking, being Yuri's presence alone is its own reward. Even though Yuri might think she might be boring me, I kind of like it when she goes on her little tangents. She always has something interesting and insightful to say about practically anything. In fact, I'm just surprised she doesn't find me boring, considering my taste in literature is rather non-existent. Hopefully Yuri feels the same way about me as I do about her, and I think she does. She's become much more relaxed around me since when we first started talking, even if it did take some time to get used to each other. She's never really hesitated to talk to me once we got acquainted. And yesterday she escalated things all on her own, something I thought she'd never do. If we were alone, we might have actually gotten the chance to kiss. And I'd be the luckiest guy on earth to have kissed someone as beautiful as Yuri. I don't exactly expect for Yuri to be the one to confess her feelings to me directly. I do think she's been trying to say lately she does have mutual feelings. So I guess it'll be up to me to figure out how to put it to her that I just want to be more than her friend. Well, don't worry, Monica will help with that at the end. Though that also poses a problem for me. I know Natsuki likes me back. I mean, she confessed to me through her poem. Sayori, well, I already know how she feels about me. If I do ultimately go for Yuri, I would have to break Natsuki's heart. And Sayori likely won't have a great initial reaction either. So it seems no matter what I do, someone's going to get hurt thanks to my choice. And my odds of getting a harem are probably non-existent, at least practically speaking. I'm laughing because I've seen this this text somewhere, it's posted somewhere, talking about how mods are really not that good at writing specific, like, these monologue things. I'm going to have to choose one of them by the end of this. And I don't think I have the feelings to go for Sayori, especially since I already turned her down once. I just don't have those kinds of feelings for her, even if part of me still entertains the idea every now and then. I mean, maybe we could give Natsuki a chance and see if we have any real chemistry, but from the times I've interacted with her, I don't think there's much room for us to grow like that. So as I pull out my phone and scroll through my picture gallery. As I'm scrolling, I come across some pictures I took with Yuri at the festival. Looking back at some of the photos, I see just how happy we looked doing all these silly poses throughout the festival. Surprised she even agreed to do them with me. Scroll to the last photo, which is us standing by the entrance to the school at the end of the festival. Somewhat to Natsuki. I noticed just how close together we are in this photo, with her even letting me wrap my arm around her. Maybe we would make a good couple. Suddenly my phone begins to ring. I look down at the contact name. It's Yuri! Why is she calling me? I answer the phone. Yuri? Hey, Chloe. What's up? How are you? Oh, I'm doing alright. I can tell Yuri seems to be rather anxious about calling me. probably figuring that I'd be mad at her for being mad at me. Look, I wanted to apologize for my behavior towards you earlier today. I don't know what came over me. It's fine, Yuri. I'm not mad at you or anything. That's a relief. I was worried that you wouldn't even take my call. I'll admit I wasn't expecting one, but I'm always glad to talk to you. I'm not taking up any of your time, am I? Not really. I've just been alone with my thoughts since I got home. I know how you feel. It's been a trying day for the two of us, to say the least. What happened with you? There's a long pause on Yuri's line. Yuri? Yeah, I'm still here. And nothing in particular I'd like to share right now. It's fine. There's another long pause on the line. Well, this conversation has already turned out better than I thought it would, so I can't complain too much. Hey, Chloe? Yeah? If you want. I heard that they just opened a new nature preserve just outside the city. I think visiting it would clear our heads. They did pick up on how Yuri seems to enjoy with someone who enjoys nature. It will probably close by 8 tonight, though, so if we want to go, we should probably get moving. The idea of hanging out some more with Yuri is tempting. We could use this opportunity to move on from what happened. But I don't know if I really want to leave the house, considering I got some heavy-duty thinking to do. Not to mention I could use the early start on my homework. We're hanging out with Yuri, though. Yeah, sure, I'd love to go with you. Really? That's wonderful, Chloe. Yeah, I could use some fresh air right now anyways. Well, I suppose that makes 2 of us. I can meet you by the train station if you wish. It's not too far from the school. From school. Exactly. I already was kind of confused. Yeah, I can meet you there. Great. I'll see you soon. Bye. Yuri hangs up the call. I must admit that I'm surprised that Yuri's inviting me to spend more time with her. It's not something I would have expected given what happened in the club today. But I'm not going to pass up an opportunity to get closer to Yuri. Maybe there's a chance I can put my concerns about her safety to rest. I grab my keys and wallet and quickly head towards the train station. After roughly a 10-minute walk, I arrive at the train station. I texted Yuri to let her know that I was there, to which she quickly replied and told me to meet her at the upper platform. I walk up the stairs to the upper deck to find not too many people standing around, waiting for the next train. I guess business is slow today. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Yuri sitting alone on the far bench at the edge platform, her face deep into a book. I send her a text to let her know I'm here and start walking over to the bench. So I take out her phone to read my text. She subsequently glances over in my direction, to which she nervously turns away from my direction. I cautiously take a seat next to her, figuring out she's still guilty with the altercation we had earlier. Hey Yuri. I tried to sound as friendly as possible without coming across as forced. Yuri manages to make eye contact with me for a brief moment. Hey, Chloe. Thank you for agreeing to accompany me. It's no problem. Actually didn't know they were opening a new nature preserve. Yeah, I've been following its construction for the last few years now. So as soon as I found out it was finished and it was going to be open to the public, I knew I had to go. Is it the grand opening or something? The grand opening ceremony was actually this morning during school. But I'm confident that it won't be nearly as crowded now, because it's later in the day. Well, hey, I'm sure we'll have a great time together. Yeah, me too. You know, I don't think I've ever been to a preserve before. I actually don't know if it's said like that in English. We have things like that in Germany too, though, and I'm pretty sure they are. I actually can't remember the German word right now, but I thought they were kind of similar. I know what it is. I just feel a little weird, like I'm saying it wrong. Well, actually, I haven't really done anything outdoorsy in years. Well, I can assure you that you'll be in for a very memorable experience. Being able to connect with nature at your own pace in a controlled environment. Just feeling the natural energy around you. It's an inspirational and exhilarating experience. Some of the first poems I ever wrote were actually about nature. Whoa, really? That's awesome! One of my friends exclusively writes nature poems. I have my own fair share of them. Do you still have them? They're kind of embarrassing. I mean, how could they? It's about nature and your own personal connection with it. I mean, I have no real connection to speak of, so how would I judge you for having one? I didn't actually think you were into nature, Yuri. I think it's cool that you are. Thanks, Chloe. They did manage to do that correctly. Actually, I grew up in the country. Spent a good portion of my early years growing up there. Nobody was around us, and I learned to embrace the solitude it gave me. I guess I still retain a good portion of my lifestyle that I grew up with. So why'd you move then? It was because suddenly we were greeted by the sound of a train whistling by us as it slowly grinds to a halt at the station. The sound is sudden enough to make us both jump a little out of our seats as we really weren't looking out for our train. Yui's face is bright with embarrassment as she scavenges through her bag for the tickets. Without making eye contact, she hands me my ticket. I assume that's our train. Yeah, it is. Sorry for acting so surprised. Should have been paying attention for the train. It's fine, Yuri, really. I didn't even see it coming either. Did it even say even? I didn't. Yes, okay. Come on, let's climb aboard. I stand up and offer Yuri my hand. Yuri nervously looks up. Why is she... Oh, right. Our conversation was going so well that the event that transpired earlier today seemed to have slipped my mind. Yuri nervously stands up as she walks towards the train doors. I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have done that. That was too soon. Heck, she might have been mad at me that had I told Monica what I thought I saw. I sighed to myself as I joined the line with Yuri. Silently show our tickets to the security guard as he lets us pass onto the train. In Germany, we literally just enter the train and then they're not even really called security guards, but they check the tickets. They're like you're just on the train and then they pass through the train and check if anyone on board in fact has tickets. But basically you could just give it a chance and hope that they don't come while you're on the train. I don't really have to worry about it because I don't know. The direct translation would be Germany ticket, Deutschland ticket, where I have to pay a monthly fee, but I can basically use all public transport aside from taxis, as far as I know, without buying extra tickets again. I can just use that ticket for trains, for buses, all of those things. I have it because I need to drive with bus very frequently, and I also travel with train very frequently. Well, not frequently, but often enough for it to also make sense just for train. I'm going to a convention soon by train with my Natsuki cosplay. It might be cold, but I will find a way. To board the train, Yuri immediately turns and sits on the far side of the cart, sitting as far away as possible from the other passengers who are sitting in the middle. I gingerly walk over and take the seat next to her. I kind of assumed you'd want to sit away from everyone else. Yuri simply nods her head. That's alright, I'm not being around people too much either. Matter of fact, I've kind of spent the last few years to myself. Though it wasn't exactly for the most productive reasons. Still, it was nice of Sayori to convince me to join the literature club. Sorry, I checked for something. I mean, if it weren't for her, I don't think we'd be here now, would we? I suppose. To be honest, Chloe, I'm surprised you've been able to put up with me for this long. Especially with how I've been acting around you today. Most people would just give up on me out of frustration. Yet, you are still here. I guess other than the girls at the club, I've probably been the only other friend Yuri's had in a while. I mean, she did tell me as much yesterday. Can't help but feel sorry for her. Once you get to know her, she really is fun to be around. But I guess most people haven't been able to connect with her like I have. Sorry. Someone is... I'm getting distracted because I can hear someone walking in the apartment above me more loudly than usual, and it's freaking me out for some reason. I'm just trying to be the best friend I can be, Yuri. And to be fair, I might have gotten a little carried away earlier. It's fine, Chloe. I appreciate your concern, but I really am fine. My cat got a little too aggressive when we were playing together last night. I see. At this point, Yuri's either telling me the truth about what happened, or she's just trying to maintain a lie. Of course it's either one of those two things. I tried to be subtle about the subject. I didn't know you had any pets. I don't think you ever brought it up. It's not something I go out of my way to bring up to people. And if Sayuri ever got a pet, she'd be reminding people constantly. Though for better or for worse, we've been spared of that because Sayuri's parents split up a few years ago. She don't always want a puppy. So I'm a little surprised Yuri never brought it up in any conversation we've had since I joined. How come? Well, suddenly the train kicks into motion, causing Yuri to slide into me, which in turn makes a slide into the rail. I'm so sorry, Chloe. Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Yuri scooches all the way back to the edge of her seat, her face bright with embarrassment. Even some of the other passengers in the car are looking on at the commotion. I quickly notice that most of the other passengers are strapped in with seatbelts. Would be good to also use yours if you have the ability to. Look down at my seat to find the buckle. Well, that would have been nice to have known about. Yuri's fine, really. Who knew they had seatbelts? Honestly, I'm trying to think about all the trains I've ever been on. For some reason, whenever there's a seatbelt, I put on my seatbelt. And I can remember putting my seatbelt on in trains, but sometimes I can't remember putting my seatbelt on in trains. But I always put on my seatbelts when I'm anywhere. I always will be sure to put on my seatbelt. I am careful like that, definitely. Oh well, I have the basic smarts for it, because honestly, unless there's some type of condition that would make it difficult for you to wear a seatbelt, I don't see why you wouldn't do it. But there are some trains where I can't remember wearing a seatbelt. Are there just some trains with and some without seatbelts, or am I just But there are some memories where there are seatbelts. Or am I just imagining things? What? Oh god, folk, forget it. My memory is kind of doing weird things right now. Yorkwood looks down at her seat to fit the strap into the buckle. Yeah, I should have told you about that. The trains don't always stop and go smoothly. You take the train a lot? Yes, actually. So I usually get around town. I usually take the train to and from school, actually. Though sometimes on a nice day, I'll brave a walk. You live far from school? Yes, I live all the way on the east side of town. Oh, wow! You certainly have the longest commute out of all of us. I mean, Sayuri and I live pretty close to school, so we always walk there. Yes, I do remember your house. I was actually pretty surprised with how close you were to school. I take it you took the train to get all the way out here. Yuri simply nods her head. But all things considered, I did enjoy my visit to your house, Chloe. Even if we were just doing festival preparations, I had fun. And I wouldn't mind coming over again sometime if you'd want me to. What's with her? 1 minute she's hardly able to find the will to talk to me. Now she wants to hang out with me more. She's been all over the place. Well, I wouldn't mind having you over again. That's nice to hear, Chloe. We small warmly at each other for a few minutes, unsure of what to say or do next. Decided against trying to bring up Yuri's cat again. She was getting comfortable talking about the subject, and I wouldn't want to put her in a bad mood again. Hindsight, this wouldn't actually be a bad time to get some reading done. Hey Yuri, you were reading Portrait of Markov when I came over to you at the station, right? Yes, why? Well, I figured this would be a pretty good time to read some more. I also always read on the train and on the bus. But the question is if Yuri can do it. There are some people who can't do it without feeling sick. I imagine we could knock out a few chapters before we get there. That's actually a great idea, Chloe. We'll definitely have time to finish the next chapter at the very least. Sounds good to me. Yuri joyfully opens her bag and pulls out the copy of Portrait of Markov and puts the book between us, much like how we did earlier. We share a warm smile between ourselves as we begin reading once again. After about an hour's worth of reading, we finally reach our stop and disembark from the train. You and I end up having to walk 12 blocks to get to the entrance of the nature preserve, but considering that it was a nice day, it wasn't too much of an issue for us. We mostly spent the duration of the walk talking about the events of the few chapters we managed to read. I'm still surprised that we're almost getting close to the end of the book. It's definitely been one of the better books I've read over the last few years. After a good 20 minutes of walking, we finally reached the entrance to the preserve. I offered to pay the entry fee, but it turned out that Yuri had gotten the tickets in advance, so we were able to walk right in. I was immediately blown away with just how massive the preserve was, and it was all open space. Yuri and I opted to travel this one trail that deviated from the main path and took us deep into the preserve. As we're walking, I was sure to take in all my surroundings. Seeing how green the grass was, how clear the air was, it almost felt like heaven. So, how was your first experience with the nature preserve going, Chloe? I love it! That's everything you said it'd be and more. That's great to hear. I'm glad you're enjoying this experience. Well, it helps that you're here. Yuri immediately blushes at a bright crimson. You don't really mean that, do you? Of course I do! Yuri, it's enjoyable to be around you. You're not boring or dull, any of that. And sure, you can get carried away from time to time, but who doesn't? It happens to all of us. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm glad we're here. Together. I see. Yuri's barely able to compose herself for several minutes, so we end up walking in silence as we head deeper into the nature preserve. During this period, I can't help but notice Yuri sneaking several glances in my direction. At one point, our eyes happen to meet out of the blue, but instead of her looking off in her usual flustered manner, she doesn't break her gaze. Naturally, this causes me to smile at her, but with really nothing to say, we just simply maintain our silence. As we walk further into the nature preserve, we start to notice that the insects flying about through the path happen to be growing in size. At first, it started off as simple gnats and flies whizzing past us. It eventually turned into dragonflies and bees flying near us. Though, surprisingly, Yuri seemed to be generally unbothered. Not that I'm resentful to insects in any way, I'm just not a fan of things flying near my face. Guess Yuri might be used to it due to her upbringing. You don't seem to mind all the bugs. The harmless creatures, Chloe, they're not going to harm you. Though I'll admit, I don't care for the big insects flying near me. However, I do have an exception for butterflies. Butterflies, huh? How come? They're quite elegant creatures, Chloe. Butterflies are very friendly to humans. I've grown to admire them over the years. Oh, Yuri, I'm so sorry to tell you, I once accidentally touched a butterfly on its wings and it died. I'm so sorry. I was 5, but I will remember that always because I raised it ever since it was like a caterpillar. I always went to the same spot and made sure it was safe, and I fed it, and then it couldn't even live for long as a butterfly. Oh, I will never forget that. That's a core memory of that will always remind me to never touch butterflies. I've grown to admire them over the years. They are beautiful. Seeing them flutter in the wind with such grace is truly a testament to the beauties of nature. It's really no wonder why many authors throughout history have used them as some form of symbolism in their work. I always did enjoy chasing after them when I was much younger. Right as Yuri finished talking, we see a butterfly flutter down from a nearby tree and right on into our path. It's an unusual blue and black pattern. Blue? I've hardly seen any blue butterflies. Something I haven't really ever seen before for butterflies. When's the last time I ever saw a blue butterfly? I'm not sure I ever really saw one outside of books. I guess they could have been introduced to the preserve. My, aren't you beautiful? Yuri stretches her palm, beckoning the butterfly to come to her. Just be careful with it! Sure enough, it does exactly that, promptly flying forward and landing in Yuri's palm. After a few seconds, the butterfly then flutters over to Yuri's other hand, crawling down to her wrist. Yuri smiles bashfully as her newfound friend explores her arm. Oh, this is a pretty picture. I like this one. Of course, I think it's an edited sprite one. I haven't seen Yuri smile like that too much. The only time she smiled like that was when we were reading together. Even though Yuri might try to apologize to me later for how much attention she's giving the butterfly, I can't help but notice how incredibly cute she looks right now. The way her long violet hair flows in the wind. How the sound of her giggling gracefully echoes through the air. And how beautifully crimson her cheeks are. It's like she's a completely different person. No longer does she seem to be worried about being judged. She's just simply living in the moment. I really do enjoy the sight of Yuri. I actually debate if I want to sneak a picture of her enjoying the company of her butterfly, but I didn't want to ruin the moment. Instead, I simply stand by her as the butterfly continues to hop between Yuri's arms, crawling up and down before staying still for a few moments only to flutter over and repeat the same process again. Yuri simply giggles and smiles as she watches its movement. After a few minutes, the butterfly lands on Yuri's nose. For a moment, she's completely still, not wanting to scare off the butterfly. But the butterfly ends up flying away into the tree line, leaving Yuri brightly blushing. I guess you were right about the butterflies. This was truly one of the best experiences I've ever had with them. It really brought back some of my childhood memories of when I used to play in my old backyard. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, Yuri. Sorry that I couldn't really share the experience with you. Don't worry about it. I'm sure we'll run into more along the way. Besides, I didn't want to disturb the moment with how cute you two looked. Yuri's entire face immediately returns to crimson. You thought I looked cute? You always do. I guess that moment just happened to remind me of that fact. Chloe. We stand in silence for a few moments, though we begin to zone out and gaze into each other's eyes. My desire to bring her into my arms only grows stronger the longer we stare at each other. I begin to notice Yuri blushing a new shade of crimson with every passing second. With nobody around and nothing stopping us, this might be my chance to really make something happen with her. As much as the circumstances say to go for it, my consciousness is telling me not to. Am I really sure I want to commit to Yuri now when I haven't decided what I wanted to say to Natsuki? It's fine. Suddenly, Yuri seems to snap out of our trance as if she just realized what was about to happen. Sorry. I really wasn't paying attention. It feels like something just came over me. Well, so much for that. Tried to go along with the awkward situation we've now found ourselves in. It's fine. Managed to stammer out. We're both completely flustered for a few seconds until Yuri manages to muster up enough courage to talk. Well, we can just keep walking if you'd like. I'm sure there's plenty more to see. I keep moving my microphone. But it's not too noticeable, but it's kind of... My headset is currently on my head very weirdly. Yeah, that works. You and I then silently proceed to continue our walk down the path, hardly being able to make eye contact with each other. After several hours of walking through the preserve, walking many different trails crisscrossing throughout the preserve, the sun finally starts to set. As if on cue, several small animals start coming out from the tree line and onto the path. Well, I take it we should start heading back. You still need to go back with a long train ride. The preserve is going to close pretty soon anyways. Yes, I suppose it is indeed that time. Can tell Yuri isn't exactly keen on the idea of leaving, considering how much fun we've had with each other today. We start walking back to the main trail as it would be the most direct path back to the entrance. After several minutes, I noticed that Yuri's maintained a rather conflicted expression on her face since we've decided to leave. I assumed it was because she didn't want to leave, but something was telling me it was more than that. I decided to carefully ask her mood in a roundabout way, hoping to avoid another episode like earlier today. Moving my headset again. We've had quite a day together, haven't we? Yuri quizzically looks up. I mean, if you told me earlier after our argument that we would have spent all afternoon together, I thought you would have been joking. Yes, I do suppose this day had its unexpected twists and turns. Yuri manages a smile as she looks off, but I can easily tell it's not genuine. I let her decide as we keep on walking. Just can't get through to her today for some reason. Seriously, what's with her? Suddenly, Yuri grabs my arm. I turned to her with a shocked expression on my face. I'm sorry, Chloe. For what? Yuri releases her grip on me as she takes a moment to collect herself. Finally, she lets it out. I'm not trying to purposefully shut you out or anything. Know that my behavior around you today has been rather erratic, to say the least. I know I've been confusing and agitating throughout the entire day. Yuri, it's fine. Really, it's not, Chloe. I haven't fully controlled my emotions, and I've been lashing out or acting cold towards you. There's really no excuse for it. But to tell you the truth, I've been wanting to ask you to come with me here for a while now. And now that it's actually happening, I feel so happy. Never really gotten the opportunity to share my interests with another boy. Not until you came into my life. You showed me nothing but kindness, patience, and respect towards me late, dearly. I'm glad that we've gotten to know each other so well. And to tell you something else, I really haven't gone on a date before. Felt my blood rush to my face as soon as Yuri uttered date. Not that I've thought this to be a date, but still surprised to hear you recall it as such. Been pretty much anxious this entire time. Maybe what's causing this behavior. Well, in this spirit of honesty, I'll admit I've been a little anxious too. I wasn't expecting this chance to hang around you more. And I was hoping I wasn't going to bore you or something. No, you've been great company, Chloe. Really? I just didn't think you were going to be interested. Well, a lot of things have piqued my interest lately. So I appreciate you letting me tag along. I'd be happy to do this again. I'll keep that in mind. But I did have another question. Something I'm a little embarrassed to ask. Well, I'm not going to judge you, Yuri. That's been my policy with you and everyone in the club from the get-go. It's not going to change because of some silly question. Well, I suppose it is a bit of a silly question. Well, Sarah asks those all the time, so you can't do worse than her. Alright. Did you want to kiss earlier? After the butterfly flew away? Oh, well, I'm completely tongue-tied here. I definitely don't feel ready to confess my feelings for her, especially since I got Natsuki to deal with. I decided to answer indirectly, figuring that it'd be my best bet. It might have crossed my mind. I see. Not sure if that was the best way to answer. Not sure if that was the best way to answer, but it's how I answered. Well, I think we've had enough heartfelt sentiment for today. Wouldn't you agree, Chloe? Yeah, I do. Let's hope we can get to the entrance before they close it on us. Yuri lets out another giggle as we resume our walk to the entrance. Yuri is certainly one of the most deep and complex people I've ever met. And even though I still have some questions about her, at least I know for sure now how she feels about me. Fortunately, we were able to get out of the nature preserve just in time for closing. Though, by the time we got out, night had already fallen, so we hurriedly went back to the station to catch the soonest possible train. We were able to get lucky and got on a train about 10 minutes after we got to the station. As soon as the train started moving, I immediately felt my stomach growl. I turned to Yuri and we both quickly come to the realization that we didn't eat anything while we were at the preserve. We only largely got by thanks to the occasional water fountains scattered along the trails. I don't suppose you have any snacks on you, do you? Let me see. Yuri digs through her bag and pulls out 2 chocolate bars. Here you are. Yuri hands me one of the chocolate bars and we immediately begin digging in. As I take my first bite, I quickly realize that Yuri gave me dark chocolate, which isn't something I've had in a while. I like dark chocolate the most. Hey, this is actually pretty good, Yuri. I haven't had dark chocolate in a while. I'm glad you like it, Chloe. Saw that they were on sale at the supermarket, and I figured I'd buy some. I just love the taste of it. Ha! Well, I guess that makes 2 of us. It's really surprising how much we have in common with each other. Yeah, it really is. See a smile form across Yuri's face as we return to eating our chocolate, which managed to finish relatively quickly. So, have you started on your part for the photo shoot? I'm probably gonna start getting everything together later tonight, but I should have everything together by the weekend at the latest. Well, that's good to hear. I thought I left the banner in my room, but it wasn't there when I checked. I could have sworn I brought it home with me. Maybe you left it in the closet back at the club? Perhaps, but it's not like I've gotten the opportunity to check lately, given how Natsuki is with the closet. And she always gets there before I do. Well, I'm sure you can ask her to check. Given her track record with keeping her manga together, I'm not entirely sure she'd be capable of finding it. I'd rather look myself. Well, what's stopping you? I just don't want her coming to me the next time we can't find something in her closet. You've seen how she's been yelling at Monica over it, and I'd rather not have that happen to me. That's fair. I would have to check in the closet for her, but given that I don't feel ready to face Natsuki right now, I try to stay silent on the matter. I'd hate to prematurely trigger confrontation over her letter. Maybe you could check for me? Drat! Drat! Well, maybe I can get by not telling to Natsuki about it. After all, she only gave it to me yesterday, sorry. I can try for you. Thank you, Chloe. I appreciate it. Though, if I may ask, I thought you and Natsuki were friends. Did something happen? No. We're still friends. I just don't want to risk conflict with her. That's all. We've been trying to be nice to each other for the most part. I'd say it's been working out. Well, that's good to hear. It's good to see you two get along. For a while I was worried you two hated each other. No, we never had anything serious against each other. But ironically enough, we only started to really get to know each other around the time you joined. Really? Yeah. I knew Monica from my advanced literature class, and one day after class she just walked over and invited me to join her club. I was kind of surprised that she even noticed me, let alone found the time to talk to me, and I'm glad I took her up on it. Through her, I met Sayori and Natsuki for the first time. Looking back, the problem attracted the most was Sayori. She'd always tried to help find some way to include me, unless I bring wine to the club. Don't bring wine to the clubs! Now that sounds like the Sayori I know. She really does go out of her way to make people feel right at home. She's been a positive presence in the club ever since we started, Chloe. If you don't mind me asking, how did you and Sayori meet? I knew that you haven't met Natsuki and I before you joined, and you met Monica in one of your classes last year. Well, we grew up with each other. Our parents always lived next door to each other, and we just happened to be born around the same time, so they bonded that way. And when we were little, we'd always play with each other, and for a while, we were best friends. Did something happen between you two? I feel a heart sting as I reflect on why Sayori and I drifted apart in the first place, even more so given last Sunday. Guess the only answer I can really give is that I discovered anime and video games, and it just pulled me in. And we stopped hanging out together as often, and eventually we stopped hanging out altogether. Freshman year, we hardly talked to each other. She started sleeping around that time as well, so the opportunities to talk to each other became rather scarce. Looking back on it, I was a terrible friend during that time to her, and I should have been there. I wish I could tell Yuri about Sayori and her depression, but that's not for me to reveal exactly, nor is your thought of Yuri harming herself with Monica. Sorry.
I suppose
suppose I can really relate to this on some level. When I moved into the city, I left practically everything I knew behind. All my friends, my memories, everything I've ever known was left behind. And I wasn't exactly great at adjusting. But in middle school, I did make friends with this one girl, and she was very kind to me. She's sort of the only reason I didn't have a total breakdown when I was dealing with the adjustment. But she helped me power through, in spite of what everyone said and how they felt about me. What happened to her? I still don't know it to this day, to be quite honest. When 8th grade rolled around, she didn't come to school with the rest of us. We tried calling her parents, but they never took our calls. It got to the point where we went to their house, and it was completely abandoned. Yikes. Sounds like they skipped town or something. That's my theory as well. My father did always say that he found her parents to be strange. In what way? Like they were always hiding something. Suddenly we hear the horn of the train starting its slow grind to a halt. You let out a sigh. I take this as your stop. Sadly, yes. I'm really sorry that I can't stay on with you for your journey home. It's all right, Yuri. You need to get yourself home. Had fun today. I really did. Me too. Come here. Bring Yuri into my arms and hug her tightly. Almost instantly, the stress and worries of the last 2 days instantly melt away. Almost instantly, but they instantly melt away. I'm surprised with how tightly Yuri is holding on to me as well. To me as well. As if she, too, has been waiting to do this. Her jasmine-scented perfume fills my nostrils with every breath I take as I continue to embrace her. Even though there might be a few bystanders looking on at us, I couldn't really care less if there was. Having her in my arms is the best thing I've ever felt. It's hard for me to even put it into words. I really hate to see her go. Yuri eventually pulls away from me, blushing wildly. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, Yuri. Yuri hurries off of the train right before the doors close. I simply lean back in my seat, still dazed with the experience I've had with her today. I'm still baffled about how I managed to turn today around. There really isn't anyone like Yuri. And I can definitely say she likes me. I know I like her back. But do I have the will to act on it? These thoughts continue to swirl in my head as the train starts up again. After about a half hour later, I finally reach my stop and begin to walk home. All things considered, things went pretty well today. I dug myself out of a hole with Yuri and managed to end things on a positive note. Still, I regret that I wasn't able to confirm my suspicions about her potentially cutting herself. Not that I was able to see her wrists at all. She managed to keep them covered pretty well. Even I found her excuse for not talking about her cat to be odd at best. But maybe she's just telling the truth and I'm being overly paranoid. Honestly, sometimes in these instances it's better to just confront that head on. And at the very least ask, hey, I was thinking that. Not press any further when they say they don't want to talk about it. And if she lies again, then pressing on probably won't do much anymore either. But it would be good to, at the very least, ask up front once. See if that person feels, thanks to that, as if it might be a space to talk about it. And if they still say no or refuse to talk about it or keep lying, then you can just keep pressing. Because that's not going to make it better. I've had a lot to think about recently. No use in trying to overexert my mind. Finally reached my house and turned the key to enter. As soon as I enter my house, I immediately head up to my room, collapse into my bed, letting my exhaustion overtake me. My legs are completely numb from all the walking I did today. At least I managed to get some good physical exercise out of this. And I really turned things around with Yuri. In fact, not only did I turn things around, but we managed to really get closer together. But I guess by getting closer to Yuri, I'm forcing myself to turn out Natsuki. It's not that bad! Jeez! And I really haven't, even made up my mind on her yet. Oh well, I'll try to worry about it tomorrow. I have enough on my plate as is. I should just try to get some good sleep for once. Hopefully I don't have another horrific dream. I shut my eyes as I easily drift off to sleep, praying for nothing to happen. The next thing I know, I open my eyes to see almost total darkness in front of me. There is no sign of my bed, my room, or anything. And I'm already standing upright. I quickly realize that I must be dreaming again. Maybe it won't be so bad tonight. You just don't listen, do you? The same... I don't understand why you continue to pursue the most unstable of us all. Yuri's completely insane. She has it well because she wants to earn your trust so that she can kill you, or worse. You saw how she was so willing to kill herself for enjoyment. Do you really want a girl like that? She's a freak, Chloe. All your suspicions about her are true. So why do you take the chance to spend even more time with her? You to try to confirm your suspicions that she's unstable? The price of doing so is death. She'll destroy everything in her path to get out of here if she ever learns the truth about this place. It's time for you to see that. I immediately jolted awake. This might still be part of the dream. But yeah, she's definitely going to have Yuri probably kill us or like attack us in our dream. Like with the other two. Yeah. Sit myself up, panting as I feel cold sweat trickling down my neck. I can feel my body trembling over the whole ordeal I just experienced. What was that all about? I hopelessly asked myself. I do my best to wipe the sweat off of my neck as I look at the time. 2 a.m. This is the third night in a row this has happened. What is happening to me? Am I really going insane? Whatever that voice wanted, it clearly didn't want me being around Yuri. It's been harassing me this entire week to stay away from Yuri. Maybe I should stay away from her to see if these nightmares go away. No, that's ridiculous. There has to be a plausible explanation for this. Suddenly, I hear the sound of several things falling down. It came from downstairs. And judging by the sound, it sounded pretty serious. Should probably check it out. So I get out of bed and creep downstairs to investigate, careful to avoid making any sound. I arrive downstairs, but I'm unable to see anything due to the lights being off. Adjusting my vision to the dark a little, it doesn't seem like anything heavy fell over. But something doesn't feel right. I glance over to the kitchen area to see an outline of something. Or someone. Oh, and she has a crazy eyes. Wait a second, I need to sit a bit differently so that I can see her expression properly. I nearly scream in horror, but I quickly cover my own mouth. Scream my eyes at the dark figure, which seems to be standing right by the kitchen table. Is that Yuri? Maybe I'm just seeing things. I slowly move my hand to the light switch and flick on the lights. The lights come on, revealing that there is nobody standing in the kitchen. I breathe a massive sigh of relief. For a second there, I thought Yuri somehow broke into my house. She isn't the type of person to do that. I walk into the kitchen right where I thought I saw Yuri standing. A quick look around shows that everything seems to be normal and there isn't anything displaced or missing. Maybe it came from the living room. Just for good measure, I grab one of my kitchen knives for protection, just in case there is an intruder in my house. Time for knife action by the looks of it. I carefully walk into my living room, knife ready. Carefully looking around, I see that everything is exactly the way I remember it. Nothing's tipped over, nothing's broken, which is the good part. But something had to have made that noise. Scratched the back of my head in confusion. Maybe it came from outside? Or one of the neighbors is doing who knows what at this ungodly hour. Then again, this is a quiet neighborhood. And I'm probably just imagining things. After all, I thought I saw Yuri standing in my kitchen. Maybe mine's just telling me to get back to bed. After I put my kitchen knife back where I found it, I turn off all the lights and head back upstairs. Man, I'm going to have to talk to Sarah about all this. I can't keep something like this from her. Even though she'll ask me a million questions, it'll probably help me with getting these nightmares off my chest. Oh well, back to bed for me. Slide under my covers and resume my favorite sleeping position. Is it just me or is my bed extra comfy now? Whatever. I'm done with questioning things for tonight. Good night, comfy bed. I begin to slowly close my eyes. However, as I'm doing so, I feel something to my left. I turn my head to see what it is. Good night, sweet prince. What the fuck? I immediately pushed off my bed. I land hard on my head as the rest of my body falls behind me, making my legs crash into my nightstand. I let out a scream of both horror and pain as my legs crashed down onto everything on my nightstand and flopped behind me. Gritting my teeth to try to tolerate the pain, I look up to see Yuri now standing on my bed, looking down at me with a sadistic smile. I'm about to start yelling at her before I realize her frightening new appearance. Everything about her is different. Her skin is an unnatural deep blue, while all her other features are glowing light green. I quickly stand up to face her. Yuri begins to speak in a muffled, almost alien voice. Meet me downstairs. As soon as I blink, Yuri is gone. I'm immediately left feeling petrified. She just disappeared. Am I still dreaming? Yes. I slap myself in an effort to see, but I'm merely left with my cheeks stinging from the force of my slap. Ouch! Okay, I'm not dreaming. This is bad. I need to call the police. Look up to my nightstand where I left my phone, but it's no longer there. The only other phone I have is downstairs. Shit! Wait. I could try escaping through my window and going to Sayori's. I went up to my window and tried to open my windows, but for some reason they're jammed shut. I step back and feel an ice-cold chill creep down my spine. I'm trapped in my own house. Maybe I can break the window. I look around for something heavy enough that could break the glass. But then I risk Yuri following me to Sayori's. I can't put her in danger. Guess I really do have to head downstairs. I grab one of my heavy textbooks for protection as I carefully head back down. As I walk back downstairs, I notice to see that all the lights are off again. Yuri? Yuri? I call out into the darkness. What the hell is all this? What are you doing in my house? I don't get a response. She has to be here. But I don't want to turn on the lights either. She'll be able to see me. If I can't see her, she can't see me either. My entire body shakes with fear as I try to guess where she could possibly be. Well, she was by the table last time. Maybe she's there again. Turn on the lights and throw my textbook in that direction. She's there. That should knock her out. I'll do it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3! Flick the lights on and chuck the textbook at my kitchen with all my force. It ends up slamming into the table and falling onto the floor. There's no sign of Yuri in the kitchen. Where the hell are you? You should have checked the couches, Chloe. Well, Yuri's sudden appearance behind makes me fall backwards into my kitchen table. Before I have time to react, I realize I'm practically backed into a corner. Yuri takes a step closer to me, a deranged smile creeping across her face. What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you crazy? Of course I am. I'm crazy for you. I also happen to be madly in love with you. Isn't that just wonderful? Don't tell me that you don't feel the same way about me, Chloe. I don't think my little heart could take it. How you turned Sayori down with hardly a second thought. I'm going to do the same to Nuts. And you're going to do the same to Natsuki. So do it to me, Chloe. Break my spirit, crush my hopes and dreams. I'm already broken. It's what I want. I want you to put me down like a filthy animal. Yuri pulls out one of my kitchen knives from under her sleeve. Yuri, no, I don't want to hurt you. Yuri slowly rolls up her sleeve. Did I stutter? You don't have a choice in this. Put me out of my fucking misery, Chloe. This knife is just aching to feel more of my blood. I can start slowly if you want. Cut me on my wrist. Yuri gestures to her wrist, which is lined with dozens of cuts, some of them freshly done. Yuri... Stop! This is insane! I'm not hurting you! I barely manage to cry out as my voice shakes with utter fear and disgust. Yuri rolls her sleeve back. Well, that's too bad. Why is that? Because this knife has already tasted blood tonight. But this one hasn't! He pulls out a second knife as she starts slowly walking towards me. Let me show you how much I love you, honey! My heart pounds against my chest at 1,000,000 miles a second as I start to hyperventilate. My vision becomes blurry as my head starts spinning, trying to come to terms with the situation. I look around for something to defend myself with or a way out of this, but both options come up empty. I'm frozen in fear, hopeless to do anything as Yuri continues her menacing advance. Open wide! Yuri rushes at me with her knives. I manage to grab her wrist with an effort to block her from stabbing me. I manage to twist one of her wrists, forcing her to drop her knife. However, Yuri knees me in my groin, making me go down instantly. I look up to see Yuri angrily towering over me, knife ready. The other knife is too far out of reach. That wasn't very nice, Chloe. Resisting my affection. That hurts my feelings. Now I'm going to hurt you. Yuri gets behind me and pins me to the floor. I thrash around in an effort to get her off me. Help! My cries for help are immediately become muffled as Yuri puts her hand over my mouth. Stop struggling, my darling. I'm only doing this because I love you. Feel the weight of Yuri's knife thrusted into the back of my neck. The excruciating pain is as she slowly pulls it out. My vision becomes filled with blood and tears as my head is slammed into the floor. I try to scream, but nothing even comes out of my lungs. I try to move, but my muscles refuse to respond. All I can feel is the pain flowing out with my blood and the weight of Yuri holding me down. The world around me slowly fades to black, with the last thing I hear being Yuri's maniacal laughter. Better to wake up early than be dead, huh? I loudly mused to myself. And though I'm pretty certain that it was a dream, I quickly checked myself for any stab wounds. Thankfully, everything is normal and let out a huge sigh of relief. I think I've pretty much decided on my feelings for Yuri, yeah. Though I suppose I subconsciously rushed through breakfast out of fear that Yuri was somehow hiding in the kitchen again. Yuri texted us? Yep. Did that name always does skip along? That's a first for her. Hello. Can certainly feel Yuri's shyness through the screen. I just need to play it cool. Hey, what's up? It's a notification that Yuri's typing, so I give her a few moments as I finish getting my things out of her class. Sure enough, just as I finish getting everything ready, my phone goes off with a text notification. I'll go to read what Yuri sent me. Oh, I'm doing alright. I was just reading some portrait of Markov and it suddenly dawned on me how close we are to the end. Oh, really? Wow, how much do we have left? About 100 pages. We really have knocked out a lot together recently. Yes, indeed we have. If you want, time permitting, we could finish the book today if you'd like. I contemplate my response. Really have been spending a lot of time around each other lately. Know how much it would mean to you if we managed to finish the book today. Yeah, sure, I'd love to do some more reading with you. I really can't wait for us to get to the last chapter. Me too. I'll see you in the club later. Goodbye. Bye. Put my phone back in my pocket as a large smile comes across my face. I'm going to get to spend more time with Yuri. This is great. I wonder what else we'll be able to do today. You and I went to check out this new nature preserve that just opened. Natsuki's confession has new lines. I know that we really haven't spent a whole lot of time around each other when you first joined. You were always around Yuri, and I think that's my fault. Why would you want to spend your time around someone who's always bitching about everything? Who's always mean? You was always kind and gentle around you, and I wasn't. I sincerely regret that now. I put up a wall around myself because I didn't want to get hurt. I was afraid of catching feelings, but I still did. I was afraid that I'd never get the chance to really see if it was worth liking you or not. That I missed my chance because I kept pushing you away. And the more I saw you with the others, the more I felt left out. It really hurt to see you with Yuri on Tuesday. I was worried that you hated me or something. That's why you always spend your time away from me. And I don't blame you if you do. Especially with how I've treated you since you joined. And I'm really, really sorry. But I still want to get to know you. You seem like a really great person. And the more I thought about you, the more I started to like you. I even started writing poems that tried to make sense of my feelings. And I figured out that I truly liked you. But I was too scared to tell you directly how I really felt at the time, so I decided to give you that special letter. My confession letter. I should just... That was the same, even though the skip button hasn't been available beforehand. What would Yuri say if I've spent so much time around her? She'd likely never trust me or any other guy ever again. Natsuki, you had your route last time. This time I just want to be friends. I tell you how I finally feel.